Hi art friends, I thought today that we could make our art in the kitchen. What you're gonna need today is some flour, salt, and water, and then food coloring if you have it. We're gonna be making homemade Play-Doh. So if you already have Play-Doh and you don't wanna make it yourself, that's fine. There's also Crayola Model Magic clay that's super awesome, and you can buy that at Walmart. But this is a super simple, easy way to make your own Play-Doh. So here we go. All right, my art friends. So what I have is my flour, my salt, and then some measuring cups so that I can get the right consistency. So I only have whole wheat flour, so this salt dough will be a little bit healthier, I guess, than normal salt dough, but normal, regular, all-purpose flour works just great. So I'm gonna get 2 cups of flour. So I'm using my measuring cup here. Okay, so I have my flour in the bowl here. Next, I need a whole cup of salt. Now when I measure things, I usually pour whatever I'm pouring over top of the bowl so that if some extra comes out, it doesn't get all over the place. Okay, that is about a cup here. Pour that in. Okay, so I'm just gonna use my hands. You can use a whisk too, but I'm just gonna kind of mix these dry ingredients together here. Okay, so now I'm gonna create kind of like a well inside. So that means that I'm gonna push the flour and the salt kind of out towards the edges. That way that the water can sit in there nicely. So I'm going to get a half cup of water. Now I got a little bit more just in case I need some more, but I'm gonna make sure that I'm measuring. So I'm gonna pour this in slowly. I'm not gonna incorporate all the water at once. So now I'm gonna start to mix, and obviously right now it's a little dry because I didn't add all the water in quite yet. So again, I'm gonna kind of push this to the side. Add a little bit more water. Friends, so now that I am done mixing my dough together, I am going to add some food coloring. Now you can see that this makes quite a bit of clay actually, and if you don't want to make that much, you can cut the recipe in half. So what that means is you would need 1 cup of flour, a half cup of salt, and a 1/4 to a half cup of water. So you could always do it that way too, because this is quite a lot. What I might do is I might rip some of this in half, and you can keep this in an airtight container in the refrigerator for up to 5 days if that's what you'd like to do with it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add some food coloring. So I'm gonna divide these into bowls. Now if you don't have food coloring, you could always use acrylic or tempera paint, or if you don't have any of those items, that's okay. You've made your own dough, which is pretty cool. And it doesn't really need color if you don't want it to have color. So I have these gel food colorings here, and some of them are neon, some of them are just kind of normal. Now when we mix colors in class, you know that certain colors mix well with others. So like red and yellow are gonna make orange, or green and blue are gonna make a blue-green, or kind of like a mixture. Now if you mix something like red and green together, it's probably not gonna look the best because those colors don't mix well. You also wouldn't want to add all the colors of the rainbow either into these because it's going to get really muddy and kind of brown. Now, because I used all-purpose wheat flour instead of just the normal like flour, mine is going to be a little bit darker because it's not bright white. So yours might turn out a little bit better, honestly, than what I have, but all I had was the wheat flour. So maybe I take a purple and a red. And with food coloring, you don't really need a whole lot, okay? It can kind of, a little bit goes a long way. So I'm just gonna start with about 3 drops of red, 3 drops of purple. Notice how I'm doing this in a bowl now. And if the food coloring gets on your fingers, it'll probably stain. I'm just gonna warn you. So you do kind of have to be careful. You could always put it in a plastic bag and then mix in the plastic bag so that you're not getting color all over your hands, or you could wear gloves, but you do need to be careful with food coloring because it can stain. So just kind of be aware of that. Same thing with paint if you're using paint. So I'm gonna start to mix my colors together here. And it might take a little bit to kind of mix these all. Alright guys, I'm all done with my dough. So I have orange, green, and purple, and I also have my plain dough back there. So what we're going to do this week is you are going to make something using your salt dough. So this is going to be a sculpture, which is something you can see from all the way around. Now maybe you get stuff from outside and you stamp it into your salt dough. Maybe you make a snowman. Maybe you use it to roll out letters, or quite anything is possible when you are using the dough. So it's up to you to make anything you want this week. I can't wait to see what you guys come up with because you're all super creative and I know that you're gonna come up with something super awesome. Again, if you already have Play-Doh or something at home, you don't have to necessarily do this. It's just kind of fun and it gets you in the kitchen and kind of mixing some things up, and it's actually a little bit of math in there too. So I miss you guys. I cannot wait to see these super awesome sculptures that you're gonna make, and make sure you fill out the Google form so I can see your beautiful works of art. Thanks guys.